Dandavat Pranam. Namaste. All glories to Om Vishnu Pad Srila Bhakti Rakshak Shradev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Om Vishnu Pad Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Ki Jai. Canto 1, Chapter 3, Text 6. Sa eva pratamam deva komaram sargam ashrita chachara dushkaram brahmacharyam akanditam. First of all, in the beginning of creation, there were four unmarried sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, who, being situated in a vow of celibacy, underwent severe austerities for realization of the absolute truth. Purport. The creation of the material world is effected, maintained, and then again annihilated at certain intervals. So there are different names of the creations in terms of the particular types of Brahma, the father of the living beings in the creation. The Kumars, as above mentioned, appeared in the Kumara creation of the material world. And to teach us the process of Brahman realization, they underwent a severe type of disciplinary action as bachelors. These Kumars are empowered incarnations, and before executing the severe type of disciplinary actions, all of them became qualified Brahmanas. This example suggests that one must first acquire the qualifications of a Brahmana, not simply by birth but also by quality, and then one can undergo the process of Brahman realization. Text 7. There's some delay with the connection. Hmm. The Veda-based website is having some issue, I think. We're not able to load the next shloka. By the grace of Sripad Bhaktimadhava Puri Maharaj, we have this nice original edition we can read from here. So we're on shloka number 7 of chapter 3 in Canto 1. Dvitiyam tu bhavasya rashatalagatam mahim udharishan upadhata yagesha shokaram vapu. The supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices accepted the incarnation of a boar, the second incarnation, and for the welfare of the earth he lifted the earth up from the nether regions of the universe. The purport from Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The indication is that for each and every incarnation of the personality of Godhead, the particular function executed is also mentioned. There cannot be any incarnation without a particular function, and such functions are always extraordinary. They are impossible for any living being to perform. The incarnation of the boar was to take the earth out of Pluto's region of filthy matter. Picking up something from a filthy place is done by a boar, and all the powerful personality of God had displayed this wonder to the Asuras, who hid the earth in such a filthy place. And although the personality of Godhead played the part of a boar, still by the devotees he is worshipped, staying always in transcendence. Text. Text 8. Tritiyam rishis hargam vai devarshitvam upetyasa tantram sattvatam achasta naishkaryam karmanam yata. In the millennium of the rishis, the personality of God had accepted the third empowered incarnation in the form of Devarshinarada, who is a great sage among the demigods. He collected expositions of the Vedas which deal with devotional service and which inspire non-fruitive action. Purport. The great Rishi Narada, who is an empowered incarnation of the personality of Godhead, propagates devotional service all over the universe. All great devotees of the Lord all over the universe and in different planets and species of life are his disciples. Srila Vyasadeva, the compiler of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, is also one of his disciples. He is the author of the Narada Pancharatra, which is the exposition of the Vedas, particularly for devotional service of the Lord. This Narada Pancharatra trains the karmis, or the fruitive workers, to achieve liberation from the bondage of fruitive work. The conditioned souls are mostly attracted by fruitive work because they want to enjoy life by the sweat of their own brow. The whole universe is full of fruitive workers in all species of life. The fruitive works include all kinds of economic development plans, but the law of nature provides that every action has its resultant reaction, and the performer of the work is bound up by such reactions, good or bad. The reaction of good work is comparative material prosperity, whereas the reaction of bad work is comparative material distress. But material conditions, either in so-called happiness or in so-called distress, are all meant ultimately for distress only. Foolish materialists have no information how to obtain eternal happiness in the unconditional state. Sri Narada informs these foolish fruitive workers how to realize the reality of happiness. He gives direction to the diseased men of the world how one's present engagement can lead one to the path of spiritual emancipation. The physician gives direction to the patient to take treated milk in the form of curd for his sufferings from indigestion due to his taking another milk preparation. So the cause of the disease and the remedy of the disease may be the same, but it must be treated. Bhagavad Gita also gives the same solution for serving the Lord by the fruits of one's labor. That will lead one to the path of text 9. Turihe dharma kala sarge narha narhaya navrishi bhutvatmopasam opetam akaro dushcharam tapa. In the fourth incarnation, the Lord became Nara and Narayana, the twin sons of the wife of King Dharma. Thus he undertook severe and exemplary penances to control the senses. Purport. As it was advised by the King Rishabha to his sons, Tapasya, or voluntary acceptance of penance for realization of the transcendence, is the only duty of the human being. It was so done by the Lord himself in an exemplary manner to teach us. The Lord is very kind to the forgetful souls. He therefore comes himself and leaves behind necessary instructions, and also sends his good sons as representatives to call all conditioned souls back to Godhead. Recently, within the memory of everyone, Lord Chaitanya also appeared for the same purpose, to show special favor to the fallen souls of this age of iron industry. The incarnation of Narayana is worshipped still at Bhadarnarayana on the range of the Himalayas. Text 10. Panchama kapilo nama siddhesha kala viplutam pravachas uryaye sankyam tatvagrama vinirnayam. The fifth incarnation, named Lord Kapila, is foremost among perfected beings. He gave an exposition of the creative elements and metaphysics to Asuri Brahmana, for in course of time this knowledge had been lost. The sum total of the creative elements is 24 in all. Each and every one of them are explicitly explained in the system of Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya philosophy is generally called metaphysics by the European scholars. The etymological meaning of Sankhya is that which explains very lucidly by analysis of the material elements. This was done for the first time by Lord Kapila, who is said herein to be the fifth in the line of incarnations. Text 11. Sastam atrer apatyadvam vrita prapto nasuyaya anvikshikim alarkaya praladadbhya uchivan. The sixth incarnation of the Purusha, who was the son of the sage Atri. He was born in the womb of Anasuya, who prayed for an incarnation. He spoke on the subject of transcendence to Alarka, Prahlad, and others, such as Yadu and Haya, etc. Purport. The Lord incarnated himself as Daitreya, the son of Rishi Atri and Anusuya. The history of the birth of Daitreya is an incarnation of the Lord is mentioned in the Brahmanda Purāna in connection with the story of the devoted wife. It is said there that Anasuya is the wife of Rishi Atri, praying before the Lords Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva as follows. My lords, if you are pleased with me, and if you desire me to ask from you some sort of blessings, then I pray to you to combine together to become my son. This was accepted by the lords as Daitreya. The Lord expounded the philosophy of the spirit soul and especially instructed Alarka, Prahlad, Yadu, Haya, etc. Text 12. Tata saptama akutyam ruchiryagyo vyajayat sayamadhyay suraganair apatsvayam bhuvantaram. The seventh incarnation was Yagya, the son of Prajapati Ruchi, and his wife Akuti. He controlled the period during the change of the Svayambhuva Manu, and was assisted by demigods such as his son Yama and others. Purport. The administrative posts occupied by the demigods for maintaining the regulations of the material world are offered to the highly elevated pious living beings. When there is a scarcity of such pious living beings, the Lord incarnates himself as Brahma, Prajapati, Indra, etc., and takes up the charge. During the period of Svayambhuva Manu, the present period is of Vaivatsva Manu. There is no suitable living being who could occupy the post of Indra, the king of Indraloka, the heaven planet. The Lord himself at that time became Indra. Assisted by his own sons like Yama and other demigods, Lord Yagya ruled the administration of the universal affairs. Text 13. Asthame meru devyam tu nabherjata urukrama darshan vartma dhiranam sarvasrama namaskritam. The eighth incarnation was King Rishabha, son of King Nabi, and his wife Meru Devi. In this incarnation, the Lord showed the path of perfection, by which is followed by those who have fully controlled their senses and who are honored by all orders of life. Purport. The society of human beings is naturally divided into 8 by orders and statuses of life, the 4 divisions of occupation and 4 divisions of cultural advancement. The intelligent class, the administrative class, the productive class, and the laborer class are the 4 divisions of occupation. And the student life, the householder's life, the retired life, and the renounced life are the 4 statuses of cultural advancement towards the path of spiritual realization. Out of these, the renounced order of life, or the order of sannyas, is considered the highest of all. And a sannyasi is constitutionally the spiritual master for all other orders and divisions. In the sannyas order also, there are 4 stages of upliftment toward perfection. Such stages are called the Kutichaka, Bahudaka, Parivragacharya, and the Paramahamsa. The Paramahamsa stage of life is the highest stage of perfection. This order of life is respected by all others. Maharaj Rishabha, the son of King Nabi and Meru Devi, was an incarnation of the Lord, and he instructed his sons to follow the path of perfection by tapasya, which sanctifies one's existence and enables one to attain the stage of spiritual happiness, which is eternal and ever increasing. Every living being is searching after happiness, but no one knows where eternal and unlimited happiness is obtainable. Foolish men seek after material sense pleasure as a substitute for real happiness. But such foolish men forget that temporary so-called happiness derived from sense pleasures is also enjoyed by the dogs and hogs. No animal, bird, or beast is bereft of this sense pleasure. In every species of life, including the human form of life, such happiness is immensely obtainable. The human form of life is, however, not meant for such cheap happiness. The human life is meant for attaining eternal and unlimited happiness by spiritual realization. This spiritual realization is obtained by tapasya, or undergoing voluntary the path of penance and abstinence from material pleasures. Those who have been trained for abstinence and material pleasures are called dhira, or men undisturbed by the senses. These dhiras can accept the orders of sannyas, and they can gradually rise up to the status of the Paramahamsa, which is adored by all members of the society. King Rishabha propagated this mission, and at the last stage he became completely aloof from the material bodily needs, which is a rare stage not to be imitated by foolish men, but to be worshipped by all. Thus ends our reading for today. We'll continue from text 14 on Monday. All glories to Om Vishnupad, Srila Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Om Vishnupad, Shripad Bhakti Madhav of Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Arupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees Ki Jai, Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to Shripad Bhakti Niskam Shanta Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Shripad Bhakti Vigyan Muni Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, the worldwide devotees Ki Jai. All glories to Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. All glories to Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. All glories to Gira Govardhan Gupta Govardhan Dham Ki Jai. Sham Kund Radha Kund Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Nitai Gora Hari Hari Bol.